Yes, I think the live has started. Good morning, all, and welcome back to yet another live session from Let's Update Language Academy. And it's me, Hareesh, back with yet another case note discussion with a model answer as always. And this is in fact case note number 35. വീണ്ടും ഒരു കേസ് നോട്ട് ഡിസ്കഷനും അതിൻ്റെ മോഡൽ ആൻസറുമായിട്ടാണ് ഞാൻ വന്നിരിക്കുന്നത്. സോ എല്ലാവരും ജോയിൻ ആയി വരുന്നേ ഉള്ളൂ. സോ ലെറ്റ്സ് വെയിറ്റ് ഫോർ ഫ്യൂ മിനിറ്റ്സ് ബിഫോർ വി സ്റ്റാർട്ട്. യെസ്, ഓക്കെ. വെൽ, അപ്പോൾ എന്തായാലും ഇന്നലെ നമുക്ക് റീഡിങ് ലൈവ് സെഷൻ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അതുപോലെ എക്സാം ബേസ്ഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു സ്പീക്കിംഗ് കാർഡിനെ ബേസ് ചെയ്ത് പ്രിയങ്ക മാമിൻ്റെ ലൈവ് ക്ലാസ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു ഇന്നലെ. ആൻഡ് ടുഡേ യെസ് വി ആർ ബാക്ക് വിത്ത് റൈറ്റിംഗ് ലൈവ് സെഷൻ. ആൻഡ് നാളെ ഒബ്വിയസ്ലി നമുക്ക് ഒരു സ്പെഷ്യൽ ലൈവ് സെഷൻ ഉള്ള ദിവസമാണ് അല്ലേ, QA ലൈവ് സെഷൻ. അതായത് എക്സാമിന് തലേദിവസം നമ്മളെല്ലാ എക്സാമിൻ്റെയും OET എക്സാംസിൻ്റെയും തലേദിവസം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വ്യാഴാഴ്ച വെള്ളിയാഴ്ച ദിവസങ്ങളിൽ നമ്മൾ കണ്ടക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു എക്സൈറ്റിംഗ് ലൈവ് സെഷനാണ് ഡൗട്ട് ക്ലിയറിംഗ് സെഷൻസ് ഫോർ ഓൾ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ്. എക്സാമിന് മുമ്പുള്ള ലാസ്റ്റ് മിനിറ്റ് ഡൗട്ട്സും കൺഫ്യൂഷൻസോ എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അവർക്ക് തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും ലൈവ് സെഷനിൽ വന്നിട്ട് ചോദിക്കാവുന്നതാണ്. ലൈക്ക് ഇറ്റ് ക്യാൻ ബി ബേസ്ഡ് ഓൺ റൈറ്റിംഗ്, റീഡിങ്, ലിസണിങ്, സ്പീക്കിംഗ്, ഏത് മൊഡ്യൂളും ആയിക്കോട്ടെ. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എന്ത് ഡൗട്ട്സ് എക്സാമിന് മുമ്പ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിലും നമ്മളൊരു ഡൗട്ടുമായിട്ടും ഒരു കൺഫ്യൂഷനായിട്ടും ഒന്നും എക്സാമിന് പോകാൻ പാടില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ആ ഒരു ലൈവ് സെഷൻ, ആ ഒരു ലാസ്റ്റ് മിനിറ്റ് QA ലൈവ് സെഷൻ എല്ലാ കുട്ടികൾക്കും വേണ്ടി എക്സാമിന് മുമ്പ് കൊടുക്കുന്നത്. സോ എല്ലാവർക്കും അതിൻ്റെയും ഭാഗമാവാവുന്നതാണ്. ആൻഡ് ദാറ്റ് വിൽ ബി ടുമോറോ. ഓക്കെ. So good morning Chitu, Amalraj, good morning Sajana, good morning Rija, good morning. Yes, good morning all. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞു 35ാമത്തെ അല്ലേ, our 35th case note that we are coming up with in the live session. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ അതിൻ്റെ മോഡൽ ആൻസറുമായിട്ടാണ് വന്നിരിക്കുന്നത്. തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും അല്ലേ, നമ്മൾ എക്സാമിന് പ്രിപ്പയർ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും റൈറ്റിംഗ് സെഷൻസിലേക്ക് വരുമ്പോൾ ഇൻഡിവിജ്വൽ സെഷൻസ് തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും നമുക്ക് വേണ്ട ഒരു കാര്യമാണ്. എക്സ്പേർട്ട് ഇൻഡിവിജ്വൽ ട്രെയിനറുടെ സഹായം ആവശ്യമുണ്ട്. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ നമുക്ക് അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു മാസ്റ്റർ ട്രെയിനർ ഡിസ്കഷൻ്റെ ആവശ്യമുണ്ട്. ആൻഡ് ഇറ്റ് വിൽ ബി മച്ച് മോർ ബെനിഫിഷ്യൽ ഇഫ് യു ഗെറ്റ് മോഡൽ ആൻസർ ടു. അപ്പോൾ ഇനി മുതൽ നമ്മൾ തീരുമാനിക്കുന്നു ലെറ്റ്സ് അപ്ഡേറ്റ് ലാംഗ്വേജ് അക്കാഡമിയിൽ റൈറ്റിങ്ങിനും സ്പീക്കിങ്ങിനും നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇൻഡിവിജ്വൽ സെഷനും എൻ്റെയും പ്രിയങ്ക മാമിൻ്റെയും മാസ്റ്റർ ക്ലാസ് മാത്രമല്ല, ഇനി മുതൽ നമ്മൾ അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു മോഡൽ ആൻസേഴ്സും മോഡൽ സ്പീക്കിംഗ് വീഡിയോസും എല്ലാം ഡെയിലി നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കിട്ടുന്നതായിരിക്കും. അതൊരു പുതിയൊരു അപ്ഡേഷൻ ഞാൻ അറിയിച്ചതേ ഉള്ളൂ. ബിക്കോസ് വി തോട്ട് ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മളൊരു മോഡൽ ആൻസറും കൂടെ റെഫർ ചെയ്യാനുണ്ട് എങ്കിൽ അല്ലേ, അത് കുട്ടികൾക്ക് ഒരുപാട് ബെനിഫിഷ്യൽ ആയിരിക്കും. ജസ്റ്റ് ലൈക്ക് ഇൻഡിവിജ്വൽ സെഷൻസിലെ മാസ്റ്റർ ക്ലാസ്സും കിട്ടുന്നത് പോലെ തന്നെ അവർക്ക് ഒരുപാട് ബെനിഫിഷ്യൽ ആക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നൊരു കാര്യമാണ് മോഡൽ ആൻസറിൻ്റെ സഹായം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. സോ തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും നമ്മളത് വി ആർ ലുക്കിംഗ് ഫോർവേഡ് ദാറ്റ്. സോ പിന്നെ ഉടനെ നമ്മൾ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നതായിരിക്കും. ഓക്കെ, യെസ്. സോ റീജ ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ്, രേഷ്മ ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ്, ശിവ ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ്, സാൻഡ്ര, പ്രിയങ്ക, പത്മ ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ് എവ്രി വൺ. യെസ്, എല്ലാവർക്കും ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ് കേട്ടോ. അപ്പോൾ എന്തായാലും വീണ്ടും നമ്മൾ വെറുതെ കേസ് നോട്ടുകൾ ഫോം ചെയ്ത് തരികയല്ല ചെയ്യുന്നത്. എല്ലാവർക്കും അറിയാം എന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. നമ്മൾ എക്സാം ബേസ്ഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള എക്സാമിന് വരുന്ന ടൈപ്പ് ഓഫ് മെറ്റീരിയൽസുമായിട്ടാണ് എപ്പോഴും നിങ്ങളുടെ മുമ്പിലേക്ക് വരുന്നത്. സോ നമ്മൾ വെറുതെ പ്രാക്ടീസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിനോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ വെറുതെ പ്രാക്ടീസ് ചെയ്താൽ പോരാ, എപ്പോഴും നമ്മൾ മനസ്സിൽ വിചാരിക്കേണ്ട ഒരു കാര്യം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ദിസ് ഈസ് വൺ തിങ് ദാറ്റ് യു ഹാവ് ടു ഓൾവേസ് കീപ് ഇൻ മൈൻഡ് ടു പ്രിപ്പയർ വിത്ത് എക്സാം ബേസ്ഡ് മെറ്റീരിയൽസ്. അപ്ഡേറ്റഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള എക്സാം ബേസ്ഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള മെറ്റീരിയൽസുമായിട്ട് പ്രിപ്പയർ ചെയ്യുമ്പോഴാണ് ആ ഒരു പ്രിപ്പറേഷൻ അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ഫോമിലേക്ക് എത്തുന്നത് അല്ലേ. കാരണം ഇപ്പോൾ സോഷ്യൽ വർക്കർ, ഒരുപക്ഷെ നിങ്ങൾ സോഷ്യൽ വർക്കേഴ്സിനൊക്കെ ലെറ്റേഴ്സ് പ്രാക്ടീസ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ലോക്കൽ GP, അങ്ങനെ ഒരുപാട് റിസീവേഴ്സിനൊന്നും OET ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ചോദിക്കാറില്ല, സോഷ്യൽ വർക്കറിന് ചോദിക്കാറേ ഇല്ല. എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു അതൊന്നും ഒരിക്കലും നിങ്ങൾക്ക് വരാത്ത ടൈപ്പ് ഓഫ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ അത്തരത്തിലുള്ള ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ഒന്നും വെച്ച് നമ്മൾ ഇനിയും പ്രാക്ടീസ് ചെയ്ത് പോരുത്. അതൊക്കെ വളരെ പണ്ട് കാലത്തുണ്ടായിരുന്ന കുറേ മോഡൽ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ഒക്കെയാണ്. അതൊന്നും ഇപ്പോൾ എക്സാമിന് ചോദിക്കാറില്ല. സോ നമ്മൾ എപ്പോഴും പ്രിപ്പയർ ചെയ്യുന്നത് അപ് ടു ഡേറ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള എക്സാം ബേസ്ഡ് മെറ്റീരിയൽസ് ആയിട്ടായിരിക്കണം. സോ നിങ്ങൾ സെൽഫ് പ്രിപ്പയർഡ് ആയിട്ട് പഠിക്കുന്ന കുട്ടികളാണെങ്കിലും എങ്ങനെ പഠിക്കുന്ന കുട്ടികളാണെങ്കിലും ഇത്തരത്തിലുള്ള അപ്ഡേറ്റഡ് മെറ്റീരിയൽസ് ഒരുപാട് നിങ്ങളെ ഹെൽപ്പ് ചെയ്യുമെന്ന് വിചാരിക്കുന്നു. സോ ബഷീർ ഒമർ, പ്ലീസ് സ്പീക്ക് ഇൻ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ്. യാ ഷുവർ, ഐ വിൽ ബി എക്സ്പ്ലെയിനിങ് ബോത്ത് ഇൻ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് ആസ് വെൽ ആസ് ഇൻ മലയാളം. Okay. We not Hindi speakers, unfortunately. I am also not well. I'm not also good in Hindi, man. So definitely, I'll be using English as well as in between. I'll be switching to Malayalam. But don't worry, whatever I say in Malayalam will be just a translation of the English version. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, sure. Okay, fine. So കുറച്ച് പേരൊക്കെ എത്തിയെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. എന്തായാലും നമുക്ക് പയ്യെ നമ്മുടെ സെഷനിലേക്ക് കിടക്കാം. ആൻഡ് yes, so the Facebook, this is available in our YouTube channel also. യൂട്യൂബിലും അവൈലബിൾ ആണ്. എല്ലാവരും അതൊന്ന് ശ്രദ്ധിക്കുക കേട്ടോ. ഓക്കെ, ആൻഡ് സോ വിൽ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ദ സെഷൻ അല്ലേ? നമുക്ക് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാം. എല്ലാവരും അറൗണ്ട് 30 ആയിട്ടുണ്ട്. നമുക്ക് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാം. വ്യൂവേഴ്സ് okay, fine. So let's start the session, and we'll start with writing case note. Let's update Language Academy Occupational English Test case note number 35. So 35th case note discussion aanu. So after the case note discussion, after the detailed discussion of the case note, as usual നമ്മൾ ഇതിന്റെ ഒരു മോഡൽ ആൻസറും കൂടെ ഡിസ്കഷനിലേക്ക് വരുന്നതായിരിക്കും. ഓക്കെ, സിയ ഹായ്, ഷിനി ജെയിംസ് ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ്. എല്ലാവർക്കും ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ് കേട്ടോ. Okay, so let's start the session, and here we have the question. Yes. Using the information given in the case notes, write a letter to Mr. 𝐉𝐨𝐢𝐬, manager of the rehab center, regarding Mr. Thompson's rehabilitation. Address Mr. 𝐉𝐨𝐢𝐬, manager, Richmond Rehab Center, -- address is also given. So ഇത് റീസെന്റ് ആയിട്ട് വന്നൊരു എക്സാം ക്വസ്റ്റൻ ആയിരുന്നു. I would say like ഒരു okay, I think വിസിബിലിറ്റി കുറവാണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു അല്ലേ? ഒരു മിനിറ്റ്. Okay, fine. So I think it is visible now. Okay. So using the information given in the case notes, write a letter to Mr. 𝐉𝐨𝐢𝐬, manager of a rehab center, regarding Mr. Thompson's rehabilitation. Okay. So I want to hear from you. This letter is written to. So what are the conclusions we can make from the writing task? എന്തൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് മനസ്സിലാക്കാൻ പറ്റും റൈറ്റിംഗ് ടാസ്കിൽ നിന്ന്? This letter is written to who is the receiver of the letter here? എല്ലാവർക്കും കമന്റ് ചെയ്യാം കേട്ടോ. Who is the ഇത് വളരെ റീസെന്റ് ആയിട്ട് വന്ന ഒരു എക്സാം ക്വസ്റ്റൻ ആയിരുന്നു. I think back in February 2024 February 10th ആണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. I forgot the date actually. 2024 വന്ന question ആണ്. I'll say the date. 2024 February 10th വന്ന ഒഫീഷ്യൽ എക്സാമിനേഷൻ ക്വസ്റ്റിനെ ബേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടാക്കിയ കേസ് നോട്ടാണ്. And so I will ask you a few questions. I think you have by now read the question. So my first question is, who is the receiver of the letter here? ആർക്കാണ് നമ്മൾ ലെറ്റർ എഴുതുന്നത്? You can give your comments here as far as the information given in the writing task. To whom you are writing this letter to? ആർക്കാണ് നമ്മൾ ലെറ്റർ എഴുതുന്നത്? Okay, so please, ആർക്കാണ് നമ്മൾ ലെറ്റർ എഴുതുന്നത്? Who is the receiver of the letter here? Yes, 𝐉𝐨𝐢𝐬, rehab center manager. Yes, manager അല്ലേ? No doubts on that. This letter is written to manager of a rehab center. So my second question is, when you write a letter to a manager of a rehab center, what will be the purpose, or what can be the purpose? എന്തായിരിക്കാം? What might be the reason? What are the possible purposes, or what are the possible reasons when you write a letter to a manager, not a manager of a rehab center? I'm just asking you a question in general. When you write a letter to a manager, what might be the reason? What might be the purpose? What might be the purpose? എന്തിനു വേണ്ടിയായിരിക്കും നമ്മൾ ലെറ്റർ എഴുതുന്നത്? What will be the purpose of a letter when you write a letter to a manager? Yes, Mr. 𝐉𝐨𝐢𝐬, manager of rehab center manager. Okay, so my second question is, what will be the purpose? Let's just consider manager of any facility. Okay, when you write a letter to a manager of a facility, leave rehab center and everything. My first question is, when you write a letter to a manager of any facility, ഏത് ഫെസിലിറ്റിയിൽ ആയിക്കോട്ടെ, what will be the purpose? Arrange care. Yes. Okay. temporary accommodation. Fine. Okay. Yeah, give your comments. Okay. So there is a question from Bashir. What's the difference between center and center? Which one is British? Okay. Center and center. CENTRE is the British spelling. CENTER is American spelling. Okay. I hope you understood. CENTER is American spelling and CENTRE is British. Okay, fine. Temporary accommodation, further support and care. Okay, rehab center. Okay, fine. So I have got so many purposes. Temporary accommodation. Okay, temporary accommodation is, it depends. I don't know, Apple managers and letter, do you think that it is always for temporary accommodation? No, we cannot say that like that. Right? Further support and care. That word is very important. What do you mean by further support? I think I'm not sure with your pronunciation. Rogi, Ninan, Samuel. Okay. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Further support and care. What do you mean by further support and care? Further support means that is an additional care. Okay. Further support means additional care. Further support. And do you think that managers of a firm is going to provide additional support? Manager of a facility, do you think a manager of a facility will be providing additional care? No. Additional care or further support and care is usually recommended to doctors or specialists in particular. Okay, so what do you think? To arrange care, what type of care? Okay, no, yes. So a manager of a rehab, let it be a rehab center or a community health center or a care home, palliative care, doesn't matter. When you write a letter to a rehab center or when you write a letter to a manager, it will be always continued care and management, ongoing care and management, or continued care and management. Am I right? Yes. So even if the purpose is not clearly given in the writing task, we can easily understand the purpose depending upon the reader. If you're writing a letter to manager, nurses and all, directors, it will be always continued care or ongoing care. So here also it is given that here the manager, we are writing this letter to a manager, but he belongs to a rehab center. So when you write a letter to a rehab center, we can use much more specific term. Rehabilitative care. Okay, rehabilitative care, or you can write what? You can write like support and care. Simply you can write support and care, rehabilitative care. Okay, that is fine. Further arrangements according to, okay, patient's needs. Roji, okay, Roji, I am previous student of lit subject. Okay, fine. Refer to rehabilitation center. Okay, fine. Yes. So here letter is written to manager of a rehab center, and therefore we have understood the purpose. When you write a letter to a manager of a rehab center, the purpose will be we can write it in multiple ways. Rehabilitative management and care, or care support and care, anything can be written. Or even if you write continued care and management, that is absolutely fine. But these are some specific words which you can use only in this context. For continued care and management, ongoing care, not if you're writing letter to nurses, directors, managers, I mean nurses, community health nurses, specialist nurse. I'm not talking about specialist nurses. If you're writing letter to community health nurse and all, definitely you can use continued care and management. That same can be applied here also, but since you're writing this letter to a rehab center, we can be bit more specific. So we can write rehabilitative care, okay, or support and care, or ongoing care and management. Anything is fine. I hope it is clear. So we have identified two concepts from the writing task, the reader and the purpose. And apart from that, nothing is so clear here. And what do you think from the writing task? Will it be a referral letter or a transfer letter or anything else? The referral letter avanano, transfer letter avanano, or any other possibilities? വേറെ എന്തെങ്കിലും possibilities വരാൻ സാധ്യതയുണ്ടോ ഇവിടെ? എന്ത് തോന്നുന്നു? Ongoing support and care to Mr. Thompson for to regain physical or mental health. Okay. Oh, okay, Bashir. This is very beneficial. Share this live broadcast with many Facebook groups right now. Okay. Thank you, Bashir. Keep going. Okay. Fine. So, well, that's so purpose is referral. Okay. How can you understand that this is a referral? That's my question. So, transfer. So we have two options right now. Priyanka says it is transfer letter, and Bashir Omar goes with referral. And what about the other possibility? Discharge. Okay. So this is my this is something which you have to not very seriously. Usually students have this prejudiced notion that when you write a letter to rehab center, it will be always transfer. This is how students usually conceived. Transfer, yes. Is it a transfer letter or a referral letter or a discharge letter? That is what we have to understand right now. Referral is the correct, I think so. Okay. So basically, there are three possibilities. You should not take it for granted that, okay, I am writing a letter to rehab center, so it is a transfer letter, or it is a referral letter, or it is a discharge letter. I'm going to conclude here. We have to confirm it. But as far as this writing task is concerned, we will read it once again and let's see whether there are any hints provided in the writing task. Using the information given in the case notes, no. Write a letter. They haven't provided write a referral letter or write a transfer letter, nothing. So no hints here also. To Mr. Devraj Sharma, manager of the rehab center, regarding Mr. Thompson's rehabilitation. Address, then the rest of the sentence, the second sentence deals with the address of the receiver. Hospice care, okay. Hospice care is when you write letters to palliative care or end of life stage care. Okay, hospice care doesn't usually suit for rehabilitative care. Okay, I hope you understood. So now, this is a very important topic. Please keep it in mind. When you write a letter to this, and this is OET's favorite too. And this is the question which was asked in one of the recent OET examination. This question is based on that. So these kind of questions are often asked by OET in the examination to confuse students between what type of letter it is. And see, even in OET's guidelines, they have clearly mentioned this point that in every case notes there will be a problematic point. There will be a problematic point. And what do you mean by problematic point? What do you mean by problematic point? That means, in short, in simple terms, every case notes will have some confusing elements to confuse students, to put them in to trap. കുട്ടികളെ ട്രാപ്പ് ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു കൺഫ്യൂസിംഗ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള എലമെന്റ്സ് എവിടെ ഉണ്ടാവും? എല്ലാ കേസ് നോട്ടിലും ഉണ്ടാവും. ആൻഡ് ഡോണ്ട് എക്സ്പെക്ട് കേസ് നോട്ട്സ് ടു ബി ടു സിമ്പിൾ ആൻഡ് ടു പ്ലെയിൻ. ദർ വിൽ ബി ഫോർ ഷ്യൂർ സം കൺഫ്യൂസിംഗ് എലമെന്റ്സ് ടു പുട്ട് യു ഇൻ എ ട്രാപ്പ്. ആൻഡ് this is one of the trap that is hidden in this particular question. Many students take it for granted, or many students are, I think, still not conscious about the fact like what to write in the introduction. Transfer letter aanengil referral ezhi vekkum, referral aanengil transfer ezhi vekkum, or some students are still not consciously working on that element. Okay, so I will explain. Here, first of all, I will explain three aspects. Usually, when you write a letter to a rehab center, the possibilities of getting the patient transferred or rehab center like the patient usually transfer cheyyarana padivu, and that is not the only case. And this is what some students still believe. Okay, ee condition maathram eduthittu students believe that whenever I write a letter to rehab center, it is always transfer. No, that is not the case. It can be referral letters too. If the patient is sent to a rehab center for a short-term care, and that is exactly the difference between transfer and referral. Transfer means long-term care, referral means short-term care. The basic difference which you have to keep in mind. So transfer means long-term care, referral means short-term care. So when you send a patient to long-term care, it becomes transfer letter, and we have to check that. We have to confirm that whether it is for short-term care or long-term care. So let's go through the question to find out the answer. And from the writing task, there is no hints provided to confirm whether it is a transfer or a referral letter. So now we will look into the plan. Let's see whether there are any plans, any hints given in the plan.
That's not something I can help with.
I'm sorry. Physiotherapy needs to be improved for 2 weeks until 20th of Jan 2024. Aspirin once daily until 13th of January, then replaced to another medication. Monitor compliance to medication. Review stock unit 20th Jan 2024. Refer to rehabilitative manager. So in the plan, they have mentioned it like refer to rehabilitative manager. Got it? And now we have to understand why it is. We cannot simply move on like that. We have to have a clear-cut picture of why it becomes a referral letter and why not a transfer letter, or why should we refer a patient to a rehab center. നമ്മൾ എന്തിനാണ് ഒരു പേഷ്യൻറ്റിനെ റീഹാബ് സെൻറ്ററിലേക്ക് റെഫർ ചെയ്യുന്നത്, എന്തുകൊണ്ട് ട്രാൻസ്ഫർ ആയില്ല? Okay, so that is what you have to understand, and keep in mind, I do not mean that when you write a letter to rehab center it will be always referral. അങ്ങനെ ഞാൻ പറയുന്നില്ല. It can be referral letter and it can be transfer. It can be also discharge letter. And when it can be a discharge letter, suppose I am a patient, I am the patient, and I'm residing in a rehabilitative care, and 2 weeks ago I had some problems, some health issues, so I was taken to hospital, and what happens is today my condition is a bit stabilized, so they will discharge me back to the same rehab center. In that case, it can be a non-case letter, it can be a discharge letter too. And as far as this case note is concerned, they have clearly mentioned that it is a referral to rehabilitative manager. So it is a referral letter, and now we have to understand why it is a referral letter, or why not transfer letter. എന്തുകൊണ്ട് referral letter ആയി, എന്തുകൊണ്ട് transfer ആയില്ല? The answer is given here. So we have some messages in between. Normally what we do here is referral because they need to assess the patient as well as they have to make a decision about the package and all. Okay, fine. So yeah, that is what I said. There can be referral letters, it can be transfer letters too. There is another possibility, and what students usually believe is that, okay, I am writing a letter to rehab center, so it will be a transfer letter, because most of the case notes are having ideas in that way. നമുക്ക് കൺസ്ട്രക്ട് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്ന അവൈലബിൾ ആയിട്ടുള്ള റീഹാബ് സെൻറ്ററിലേക്കുള്ള കേസ് നോട്ടിൽ ഒരു ഭൂരിഭാഗം 90% കേസ് നോട്ട്സും ട്രാൻസ്ഫർ ലെറ്റർ ടു റീഹാബ് സെൻറ്റർ ആയിരിക്കും. അതാണ് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത്. അത് കുട്ടികൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്തു, ദേ കൺസിഡർ ഇറ്റ് ആസ് a general one, like they believe that, okay, so whenever I write a letter to rehab center, it will be always transfer. No, that is not the case. So here is an exception where you are referring a patient to rehab center. Okay, so yeah, thank you for that. If they already accepted, then it is transfer. Okay, fine. Refer letter for rehabilitation center and management for short-term care. Okay, that's what Krishna Priya Agil says. Okay, yes, exactly. When you write, if it is a referral letter, it will be for short-term care. And now we have to understand why this patient is, or is it actually for short-term care? We have to just cross-check it with the rest of the information given in the case note. The case note, it's okay, but still we have to just go and detail, and we'll find out why this patient requires short-term care. And if this patient requires short-term care, definitely it is a referral letter, and we will see. If you will see this particular content, it is given that, and we have some other messages also. Referral letter, Jinsi, good morning. Yes, if they accepted it, then how it is a transfer letter? Okay, I'm sorry for that. Chinchu, referral letter. Okay, fine. Discussion and post-discharge plan. Low mood, missing wife and family, need to return home ASAP. Okay, family unable to take care, discussed and agreed for transfer temporarily. Okay, see, here it is clearly given that today, that is today's date, 6th of Jan 2024, it is given that discussion is made regarding the patient's discharge and everything. And the patient is right now having low mood. He's missing wife and family. Okay, fine. And he is eager to go home. But family is now unable to take care of him. So discussed, and what happened? Discussed and discussed and agreed for transfer temporarily. Another word for short-term care. So right now, Krishna Priya used a word short-term care. Even I have used this word short-term care and long-term care to distinguish between referral and transfer. But instead of this short-term care, they have used the word transfer temporary. What do you mean by temporary transfer? That means it will be for a short-term care, not a permanent transfer. So permanent transfer is opposite of temporary transfer. Long-term care, short-term care. Permanent transfer and temporary transfer. So they have clearly mentioned that this patient is only transferred for a short-term period or a temporary transfer, and that is how it is a referral letter. So you have to be very particular on these aspects. These are mistakes which you make in the very introduction. So if you're not conscious on these elements, what happens in the examination is that when the examiner takes out a paper for evaluation, don't think that they will be evaluating from the middle of a paper or from the ending. The first thing that they are going to read is your introduction. So if you fail to impress them in the very first lines or first few lines, it will be a very difficult process to get the required score, because naturally they will have the tendency to judge you. By introduction, I am writing to refer. If you write I am writing to transfer, it is going to be a mistake. And let's see how I have written the introduction also, and that will give you a better idea. So this is a referral letter written to a manager of a rehab center for rehabilitative care and management, and that's it. And now let's see how I have written the introduction. See, I am writing to refer. I am writing to refer. I haven't written I am writing to transfer, which we usually write when we write letters to rehabilitative center. I'm sorry. Got it? Yes. Mistake confusion solved. And now, keeping that in mind, we will look into some other aspects of this question. Okay. Fine. So the plan, once again, let's recap all the details which you have said. This letter is written to rehabilitative manager. So manager of rehab center, rehabilitative care, referral letter. And now we have to understand the reason to, which we will look into later. And let's read the plan once again. Physiotherapy needs to be improved until 20th of Jan 2024. Aspirin once daily until 13 Jan. Then it needs to be replaced with this particular medication. Monitor compliance to medication. Review stock unit. Refer to rehabilitative manager. That's it. Nothing special. And now let's see what happened to the patient. For that, we have to start reading the case note from the first. And yes, here we go. Assume that today's date is 6th Jan 2024. Very important. We have to have a clear-cut picture of when will be today's date. And I think this year OIT is following this particular date, either 6th Jan 2024 or 7th Jan 2024. This is today's date, which is commonly followed by OIT in this year. Again, that is not something which you can confirm, but this is based on the previous exam questions. Okay. You are a charge nurse working in the emergency department. So, the writer of the letter is, or we are actually working in an emergency department where this patient might have been admitted. Okay. Not might have, patient is admitted. And patient details. Frederick Thompson, and the patient's date of birth and age is given. He is a very senior citizen, 82 years old. Okay. And since you're writing it as an unknown case letter, you can use this as a reference for the patient in the introduction. And regarding the social history, so let's keep in mind this patient is referred to a rehabilitative manager for short-term care, and we will see what are the important information which you can pick from the social history. Social history married. Do you think the manager will be excited to know that he's married? Oh my God. No. Retired, already we have, since if you have mentioned the patient's age, you do not have to, so it is optional. Doctor staying near, no. Why should the manager of the rehab center get to know that his daughter is staying near? No. Use Willy Walker, yeah, fine. That is something which you can include. Smokes 5 cigarettes per day, okay, fine. Alcohol consumption can be written. Hobbies, if this patient was actually transferred to this rehab center, hobbies will play a role because it is for long-term care. So the patient is going to live there for a very long period of time. So it will be beneficial for them to get to know regarding, definitely, regarding the patient's hobbies and everything. Okay, yes, wheelchair. Okay, Sia has already given the answers for wheelchair, smoking habit, and alcohol consumption. Very good, Sia. Okay. Yeah, fine. So if you move further, medical history of the patient. Fracture in the toe, headache since 2004, high cholesterol, hypotension, and I think by now you have understood the past history, high cholesterol and hypertension, the condition which the patient still having medications. It needs to be included in the letter 2. So past history can also be included too. But all these are secondary data or semi-relevant information. Secondary and semi-relevant. Okay. And now let's look into the patient's presenting complaint. See, whenever you start looking into the presenting complaint, we have to be very careful with the dates also. So today's date is given as 6 Jan 2024 and the initial date of admission was 31st of December 2023. So today we are writing this letter on 6th of January. So will it be helpful for the manager to exactly mention on 31st December 2023? Yeah, definitely, right. Because it is just happened like 6 or 7 days ago. So you can mention the exact date even if you want, no worries. So on 31st December 2023, and this is also something to be kept in mind. Never forget to mention the timeline when you write an incident. Or incident timeline or which is very, very, very important. Okay. Do not just write like he was admitted to emergency department. No, that is not the way. So he was brought to emergency department, left side weakness, facial droop, slurred speech, left leg numbness, confusion, disorientation. The BP was very high and the vitals are given here. And the diagnosis is acute ischemic stroke, left just revealed through MRI. And the management has given medications for clot, then medication for high BP, then aspirin, and everything is given. And then next day, his vital parameters were normal, and he was transferred to stroke unit. And there is a slight smelling. It's actually stroke. I hope you will find it right. Upon arrival to ED on 31st December, he was presented with so and so. Okay, very good, very good. Yes. Yeah. Then 2nd Jan, improvement has been noted. Then his again the blah 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 vitals and everything is given. Leave all this aside. Then physio left and right leg once daily for 20 minutes. As per in the medications management, everything is given. Then the next date, 4th of January, again the vitals are given. So this is purposefully given to confuse you, and it will definitely waste your time to. The vitals we'll be confused in fact to whether we should mention the vitals and everything because it is given so many times. So this is the 3rd time they have given the vitals, and the previous date also they have given the same, and on admission also they have given the same. So naturally we will have that tendency to write these vitals in the letter because it is given multiple times, but you do not have to. Keep in mind, these are all vitals which is marked in previous dates. It doesn't have any relevance to the patient's current treatment. But if you want, you can mention like on admission his vitals were deranged or elevated. That is fine, but other than that, it is not wise to mention all the vitals and all these parameters values as such. But if the vitals or the vitals measurements and everything is given as of today, definitely you can write because that is a patient's current vitals. But again, if it is normal, you do not have to mention the values as such. Okay. Moving further, on 4th of January again, physiotherapy was initiated. And the patient started to walk short distance with walker, has fear of fall. Okay. And 6th of January, discussion and post-discharge plan. Low mood, missing wife and family, need to return home ASAP. Family unable to take care, discussed and agreed for transfer temporarily. And rest we have read. So I now hope you have understood the confusing elements in this question. The major one was the identification of the type of letter, whether it is a referral letter or a transfer letter. So this is the trap that was set by OET in this particular question paper. And then moving further, some slight confusions. Like here it is given that some students even have the tendency to write it as a homicide letter, because you can, I'm sorry, here it is given like return home as that. Return home. So they have seen the word called home. So some students, I'm not generalizing, some students will have the tendency to even write it as a homicide letter or a discharge letter, thinking that return to home ASAP. Or they will just looking into the words like return home. Is it given like that? Does it mean that the patient is going to home right now? No. It is the patient need to return home as soon as possible. It doesn't mean that the patient is right now getting discharged and he's going to home. See, family is unable to take care of him. His family is unable to take care. So they have discussed for temporary transfer. Okay. And now, keeping that in mind, അങ്ങനെയും എഴുതാവുന്നതാണ് ഈ ലെറ്ററിൽ. അങ്ങനെയും കുട്ടികൾ കൺഫ്യൂസ്ഡ് ആവാറുണ്ട്. അങ്ങനെയും കൺഫ്യൂഷൻ നമുക്ക് എക്സാമിനേഷൻ ചെല്ലുമ്പോൾ ഉണ്ടാവരുത്. അതാണ് കൃത്യമായിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞു തരുന്നത് കേട്ടോ. And I hope you have understood. And now moving to the model answer of this question. ഈ question model answer ഒന്ന് നോക്കാം. Let's read it very quick. I am writing to refer Mr. Frederick Thompson, an 82-year-old who requires rehabilitative care and management. I'm sorry, there is a slight mistake, editorial mistake on the top. Sorry for that. I'm writing to refer Mr. Frederick Thompson, an 82-year-old who requires rehabilitative care and management following an acute ischemic stroke. So അതെല്ലാം കാര്യങ്ങൾ include ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. And now moving to the first body paragraph. Upon admission on 31st December 23, Mr. Thompson presented with left-sided weakness, facial droop, slurred speech and confusion. The symptoms later attributed to an acute ischemic stroke. So a very good sentence which is formed using later. And therefore, he received timely management including alteplase administration and blood pressure control with IV labetalol. Subsequently, he was transferred to a stroke unit on 1st January 2024. Since then, Mr. Thompson has shown steady improvement in his condition with vital parameters stabilizing with normal ranges. Then, despite physiotherapy sessions being initiated to address residual weakness on his left arm and leg, with notable progress observed, Mr. Thompson has expressed fear of falls during mobility, particularly while using walker. So in light of his low mood and absence of family support, so I have written that in a different way. Presently he has low mood and so on and so. I have written that in a different way. In light of his low mood and absence of family support, it has been agreed upon to temporarily transfer Mr. Thompson to your rehabilitation center. The proposed rehabilitation plan includes intensified physiotherapy sessions, medication management, and regular monitoring of compliance. We anticipate a review of his progress on 20th Jan 2024, following which further recommendations will be made. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any further queries. So this is a model answer for this question, and I hope it was helpful for all. And yeah, and we'll have similar sessions of this in the upcoming weeks too. എല്ലാ ആഴ്ചയും നമ്മുടെ എല്ലാ മൊഡ്യൂളിലും ഫ്രീ ലൈവ് സെഷൻസ് കൊടുക്കുന്നതായിരിക്കും. അതിൻ്റെ അപ്ഡേറ്റ്സ് നമ്മുടെ ഫേസ്ബുക്ക് പേജിൽ കിട്ടുന്നതായിരിക്കും. ആൻഡ് ഐ ഹോപ്പ് ഇറ്റ് വാസ് എ ഹെൽപ്ഫുൾ സെഷൻ ഫോർ യു. ആൻഡ് ഇനി നമ്മൾ അടുത്ത ആഴ്ചകൾ വീണ്ടും ഇതുപോലെയുള്ള എക്സാം ബേസ്ഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള മെറ്റീരിയൽസുമായിട്ട് വരുന്നതായിരിക്കും. So stay tuned, and until then, bye-bye, and tomorrow we'll see you with QA live session from Let's Up the Language Academy. and it will be held by, like, I'll be doing the live session along with Priyanka ma'am. So we'll see you tomorrow.